Saturday morning. I know it's hard to get up early sometimes on a Saturday, so I really appreciate that. My name is Alex Brandon. I work for Friends of the Forest Preserves. We're a local nonprofit, and we try to take care of the forest preserves for you guys and for other people we hope that will enjoy nature and be out here, and also for the plants and animals that live here. So did they kind of give you a primer on why we're doing what we're doing, why it's important? Yes? No?
Yes.
Yes? Does anyone have any questions about why we're doing what we're doing? Because sometimes it can seem a little bit still, funny for people when we first start why you'd be cutting down things that are green for other green things. So just want to make sure everyone doesn't have any questions about that. Pretty good? Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cutting down woody shrubs that are in this area so that the prairie plants can thrive, because what happens is that they shade out the floor of the prairie, and then those plants can't survive, and if those plants can't survive, then the wildlife that depends on those prairie species are going to be gone too. So basically all we're doing is thinning shrubs. Does everyone know the difference between a woody shrub and like a flower? What's the difference, do you guys think? Any ideas?
The stems are going to be thicker.
Stems are going to be thicker, so that's true. So the big difference is that woody stems are made of wood, versus if you look at a flower, they're green, they kind of bend really easily. After a season or after a couple months, right, that thing kind of just decays and disappears after the plant dies, right? So a woody stem is a thick, woody, like wood, it's made of wood. So we're cutting down woody shrubs. We're not cutting down green flowers, right? So we're going to concentrate on cutting the woody things. We're going to be cutting things with loppers, and they're also giant scissors. We're using these guys. And when we're using these, we want to cut things that will easily fit in here. So we don't want to be cutting things this big around. If we try to cut this with this, what's going to happen? It's going to break, right. And how much do you think these things cost? $50, $45. And a nonprofit, what we're doing is we're trying to raise money to do good work. We don't raise money to buy more and more tools, right? We want to try to save money and try to get as much work done as we can. So we want to make sure we're taking care of these tools. So if it doesn't easily fit in there, you don't want to cut it with these tools, okay? There's one kind of tree or shrub that we don't want to cut, and those are oaks. Does everyone know what an oak looks like? Let me show you one. So these are oak leaves. Okay? So if you see a little baby oak and it's got these lobes in the leaves, and what I mean by lobes is the leaf isn't entire, it's not a circle, it's got these indentations in it. So if you see a leaf that looks anything like this, similar to this, you don't want to cut it down. Otherwise, you can cut shrubs down. Just don't cut down the oak.
Any questions? Just ask.
Just that. Yeah, if you're not sure, I'd rather you ask me, ask Brian, ask Karina, ask one of these people what you should be cutting if you get confused. It's better to be safe than to cut something down that you don't want to cut down. When you cut things down, you want to you don't want to do this too much, although you guys are younger, maybe it won't hurt you as badly, but if you're doing this for 3 hours and you're cutting, you're going to kill your back. Your back's going to really hurt. So you want to try to bend down kind of like this and cut things down. When you're cutting things, we have the thing called the 3-ring finger rule. Basically what that means is we need to cut everything so the stem that we cut is no higher than 3 fingers. Why do you think maybe we'd want to do that?
So it doesn't go sprout.
Because of what?
Won't
sprout again? Any other ideas? What if someone's taking a hike and we've got things this high and you're walking? What's going to happen? You're going to trip and you're going to fall, right? You got to cut things really short so that for safety reasons, so people don't get hurt. Also, when you're cutting, you always want to cut directly perpendicular to the stem. So the stem's like this, and you want to cut it straight and flat. What if you cut it at an angle like that? What's that going to do? It's going to create a nice, sharp pogo stick. Again, someone trips and falls, and they get stabbed with one of those. Not good. Not good at all. So we want to make sure we're cutting everything flat. Everything that you cut, we're going to be carrying to a pile that these guys are going to be creating, and we're going to be burning it. We can't leave all this stuff just laying on the ground, so we smother the other plants that are going to try to grow there when we're done. So when we cut anything, we're going to show you where we're going to put it, but we're going to pick it up and we're going to carry it to this pile to put it on. If it's bigger than you, the thing you cut down, you got to cut it into smaller pieces to put on the fire. If it's something that's 4 feet, 12 feet long, it's way too big. You got to cut it into pieces. So usually what I recommend you do is maybe work in teams. You know, you have one person cutting something, passing it on to another person who cuts it into smaller pieces. That's a good way to do it. Does anyone have any questions so far on how we do this? Okay, so
One comment,
there,
Alice. We saw it once at Beaubien where somebody could have been seriously injured by a tree that was felled. It was a tree that was maybe 3 to 4 inches thick. So either the saw or one of these could have cut it. And the person who was cutting it wasn't watching where the tree was going to fall, and it hit one of our team and hit her. Could have killed her.
Good.
Fortunately, it knocked her down, but it didn't. So watch where the tree's going, where it's going to fall if it's big.
Excellent.
If it's taller than you are, where's it going to land?
Excellent. That's the other thing you want to do. You want to be working. I don't want to be like this next to Matt cutting. Because what's going to happen when I do that? When I cut something, it's going to fall on him. Or I'm going to pick it up and I'm not going to notice someone's behind me, and I'm going to go like this, wham, and hit someone in the face with that brush. You want to be working at least 6 to 7 feet away from each other, if not more. That's actually a little too close. So you don't want to be all hovered together. You want to be kind of spread out a little bit, and you want to really watch what you're doing. When you're cutting something down, make sure someone's not in the way, just like Kevin said. So let's just be really careful about that for safety.
One other thing to be careful of is the fire. You guys maybe have work clothes on, but maybe not. You don't want to get the ash that comes off the fire can burn your clothes, it can burn you. So be mindful of which way the wind's blowing and try and stay away from it, because the fires can get pretty big.
Anybody who's got police on, got to get a lot of stickers, you know?
Yeah.
Too, so you got to be careful.
Yeah, if you're really worried about your clothes, you might want to just lay the stuff near the people working the fire, and they'll put it on the fire. Because there will be little embers coming up, and one of them could land on your shirt and mess it up. Like you can kind of see, look out on my shirt. I'm really stylish here. I've got, holes in it. I look like
You got the stickers on.
I look pretty funky, right? I don't look very stylish right now, and I deliberately, because I've already ruined clothes, and this is a ruined sweatshirt, and I'm not able to use it. So just be careful of that, and if you don't feel comfortable, just give it to someone working the pile, and they'll put it on for you, okay? Still need to carry it over there. Don't leave it where you cut it, but carry it towards the pile, and these guys are going to be working the brush pile, and they'll direct you where to go. Okay? The other thing we're going to do is I'm going to have 3 of you guys that are interested, and we can switch off, do some seed collecting. We're going to collect some seed, and then we're going to spread it in the area where we've cut today. So that's kind of a fun project, and does anyone really want to do that first? Do I have 3 volunteers? Like to collect seed? Are you guys all up in for collecting? You guys? Okay. So when we get out there, just come see me once we get everyone started, and I'll show you guys how to do seed. Okay? So what I want everyone to do now is go get themselves a lopper, and there's also, in that black bag, there's gloves. You always want to wear gloves so you don't get blisters. So grab a pair of gloves and a lopper. Oh, yeah.